Hello, friends, and welcome. Tonight, we're going to talk about the the art of seduction, because that's why you watch my videos, because you want to learn about this kind of stuff. I I can't even get past that. Whatever else I was gonna say, which I don't even know what I had in mind. But if you can get past that cringy opening, I assure you that it's relevant, and it's only because the cigar that I am smoking tonight seems to promise some sort of seduction as you smoke it. Mainly because it is called the Seductor. So tonight I am continuing to smoke the Benavides Cigar line, and I am going on a much lighter note tonight. However, apparently this Connecticut is I guess it's supposed to be silky smooth and seductive, and yeah, I'm not going to use those type of words anymore, and we're just going to get on with the review. So yeah, no more talking. Cue the music. What's up, guys? You are watching Dad Smoking Cigars, sponsored by StokyLives.com and Casa Cuevas Cigars. From our Casa to yours, thank you so much for joining me. As I mentioned before, for this week's no bullshit cigar review, I am continuing with the Benavides cigar line. The reason why I am going through this entire line, because normally, like, depending on, when I get the cigars or how many I've been, thankfully gifted with, because I have been fortunate enough to cross paths with cigar manufacturers who, felt kind enough to hand me just a few of their cigars, or just a couple of them. I don't tend to go through like an entire line, even if they've given me every single one of them, just because I like to try and spread things out and make sure that each individual cigar manufacturers, especially if they are boutique manufacturers, are getting the proper amount of attention. Well, seeing as Benavides is really the only recent boutique cigar manufacturer that I've been able to cross paths with, and I've reviewed other boutiques recently, is what I tend to focus on. This is a brand that I really truly think that deserves your attention, that you really need to check out and try to get your hands on by any reasonable means necessary, because they are that good. Thus far, I have enjoyed every single one that I've smoked, and I'm excited to get into this next one. As I mentioned before, it is the Seductor. I think that's how you say it. It's a Connecticut. I'm just going to go ahead and get on with cutting and lighting and giving you my first impressions. It'd be helpful if I could find my cutter. Really would be helpful. There it is. Once again, my ashtray's too far away. I don't know why I do that to myself. That's perfect. I mean, look at that. It's pretty much a perfect cut, if I do say so myself. Okay, managed not to inhale any filler that time. Thank goodness, because I was getting kind of tired of that. I spoke too soon. Dang it. All right, moving on. Cold drop. I'm getting like some cedar. No dried fruit, surprisingly enough, which, I come to expect in most cigars, but especially in a Connecticut, which tends to be on the milder and sweeter side, I'm surprised. A little bit of sweetness. It's actually kind of bittersweet. There's a bitterness to it. There's a lot of woodiness, like cedar flavor that I'm getting. And it's possible my palate is a little bit thrown off. I haven't had anything to drink for a bit, so hold on. All right. After wetting the whistle, let's try that one more time. Okay. Not as much bitterness that time, but it's still slightly there. A little bit of sweetness. Lots of like cedar flavor. Just in the cold draw. So, all right, let's light it on fire. Toasty. Lots and lots and lots of cedar, with a hint of like creaminess, and whoa, back of the palate, just got a bit, like a little pinch of spice. Little cinnamony there, just a tiny bit. Oh, looks like, and just because I'm wanting to be honest, looks like I got a little bit of a crack in the foot there. I think I might have toasted it a little too long. Hopefully, as it starts to burn down, that will kind of that will take care of that problem. But yeah, just a little bit cracked on the foot. I hope that it probably has more to do with, like, I probably need to get my humidification a little bit better calibrated. So we'll just have to see where I'm at in that regard. Just a creamy, subtle sweetness with a lot of cedar, and that just pinch, like, that's what I mean, like right in the back of the palate. No joke. It's as if like there was a dash of like cinnamon or nutmeg or some other kind of baking spice, not savory, but more of like a sweeter baking spice, got tossed onto the back of my palate, just sprinkled ever so slightly. And yeah, pretty tasty. I think I'm going to give it a bit more of a light. I think I let it go a little bit too much without keeping the fire lit. Ooh. That retrohale is always good for opening up what wasn't there before. And I actually have a video on how to retrohale. I know that not everybody does it. I know you guys see me do it. You hear me mention it. Some of you might have absolutely no idea what retrohaling is, much less how to do it. So what I want you to do, is to go check out the video that I did a long while ago during the early days of the pandemic, before I had a studio and all that kind of stuff, and I was out on my patio. This video where I do my very best to teach you how to retrohale, because I promise, if you don't know how to retrohale, if you haven't figured that out and that's not a part of your smoking experience, you really need to figure out or learn how to do that, because it just adds to it in such a wonderful way and opens up your palate, and you get more flavor out of the cigar than you were just by puffing alone. So yes, please check that out. Okay, so that retrohale, yeah, just opened it up nicely. I really hope this crack doesn't spread. I don't think I need to be concerned too much. I know you can't really see it too much, but it's there. I wish my camera would autofocus, but yeah, creamy, woody, cedar flavored, hint of spice, subtle sweetness. Those are the makings of a good Connecticut. So off to a good start. You take a look at that band right there. Again, you probably can't see it, but it's kind of like an old painting of a kind of like a Renaissance era painting, where you see this man kissing a lovely woman, just adding to the theme of seduction. Anyway, sorry, forget I did that. I don't know why I did that, but yeah, it's working its charms on me. So we'll just have to see, how much more charming it can get. I'm pretty sure that this will be a nice experience, and I'll try to refrain from using any other boudoir language. I think I'm funny, but I'm probably not. Hi. Okay. Well, I'm going to be truthful about this cigar, and in no way am I going to say that it's not delicious, because it is. Right now, it has just transitioned into a very creamy, very smooth, subtly sweet. Again, a lot of cedar. Spices backed off a bit, but it's just nice, smooth, and creamy. Rich, tasty. Pretty much everything you'd expect out of a good Connecticut. In fact, this is probably the best Connecticut I've had in a while. Outside of my usual favorites, I've told you, my top three, they're like usually Casa Cuevas Connecticut, the Espinosa Crema. Those are definitely my top two, and I think I forgot my third one. So, but this one is starting to creep its way in. So I would say it's I don't know if it's in my top 3 just yet, but it's within the top 5, I guess you would say. I'm grow that out there a little bit and say I have a top 5, and this is up in there right now. So yes, the Seductor is definitely making its way into my top 5 Connecticut. So very tasty. What I will say performance-wise in regards to this one, and again, this is just one of the Seductor Connecticut's out of who knows how many. And every now and then, you're going to get a cigar that doesn't perform as well. This one in particular is not performing great, like, or super fantastic. Like, I've had to relight it a few times after not even be sitting there for very long, maybe a minute or two, and it decides to go out. The burn is a bit wonky. It hasn't stayed very straight. As you saw before in the beginning, there was a crack in the wrapper at the foot, which disappeared, but there was a couple other little cracks that popped up, like especially when I took off the band. It took a little bit of the wrapper with it, which usually doesn't happen when I take the wrapper off. But I had to relight it a few times and keep it going. So I've had to babysit it just a little bit. Not terribly so, not a whole lot. I haven't had to, like, you know, constantly relight it or touch it up. Just done a few relights. But other than that, honestly, the flavor is fantastic. Smoke output's pretty good. Again, it tends to go out fairly quickly. Like right now, I had to work a little bit just to get some more smoke out. Again, I was just letting it kind of linger. Not too long, not too much, because you know how it is. Like, there are certain cigars so you can leave them sitting on your ashtray or wherever it is you rest them in between puffs. You're taking a break from it for a little bit, and you go back to it maybe after 5, even 10 minutes, and it's still lit. It's still smoking, and you just have to puff it a couple times, and it comes right back to life. It was kind of maybe snoozing a little bit. And then there's the cigars where you leave it for more than a couple minutes, 2 to 5 minutes, and it goes out. You have to relight it. This one has been going out a little frequently. I'm gonna be honest with you. It's been kind of just deciding to snuff itself out. Because right now you're not even really seeing any smoke coming off it until I do this. And just one wisp, and I'm gonna have to relight it again. I'm having to put a little bit more work into it than I prefer. And again, this just may be this cigar in particular and not this particular cigar in the line, this particular Connecticut by Benavides, the Seductor. I don't think that this is probably the case with each one. I only know this one, the one that I'm currently smoking. So it looks like, and I think I'm running out of butane here. Yeah. A few good long draws, and that brings it right back. I got a nice big thick cloud of smoke above my head, and interestingly enough, those few long draws, I'm getting like some savory notes. That's kind of crazy. I was not expecting that. Savory notes. That's wow. Yeah, no sweetness there. Definitely some savory notes. A little bit of leather. I just got some, leather kicking in pretty hard. Yeah. I can't really say what kind of notes they are, but they're definitely not sweet. They're more on the savory side, and that kind of came out of left field. Kind of crazy, but I like it. It's kind of cool. But yeah, I've had to work for it a little bit. I've had to touch it up, relight, and kind of babysit it just a little bit, which, you know, I prefer not to have to do that with a cigar, but it does happen on occasion, and I don't begrudge the manufacturer for the occasional, like, you know, cigar you have to put a little more effort into to enjoy and smoke. It's not my cup of tea, but it happens. But yeah, I'm getting way more like savory, leathery notes. Not so much cedar. The sweetness is pretty much gone. That's kind of nuts. Starting to get a little hot. Whoa, that was spicy. Whoa. The heat combined with like the savory nature of the cigar now is it's quite potent. I wasn't expecting that at all. Not at all. But it's making for a hell of an experience. I'm actually speechless because I don't think I have had that kind of that kind of experience with a Connecticut ever. I've had some Connecticut's that had a little bit of a spice to them. They were like a little bit more of like a medium profile as opposed to mild. This started out very mild, and coming to the end of it, yeah, whew. Ugh. Some breadiness there. First time I've had that throughout the entire experience, and very earthy, lots of leather. Ooh, spicy, getting more peppery the further down I smoke it. I'm actually really tired. It's actually late when I'm filming this, so if I'm at a loss for words, because I think my brain is shutting down. So I think most of us can relate to that. I think so far, again, you know, making sure that I'm not bullshitting it in any way, shape, or form. This is the Benavides cigar that I don't want to say I like the least, but I think this one is down towards the bottom out of all the ones I've smoked. Because I've had the, you know, the Paris Midnight, the Mojoton Habano, the Nicaragita Habano. So I think out of the 4 that I've had so far, this being the 4th, this one I'd say is at the bottom, only because of performance issues. I had to relight it a lot. The burn pattern's a little bit weird. There was a little bit of a crack in the foot when I first started smoking it. And it also had kind of issues staying together at certain points, and it's kind of starting to blow up there right here at the end. But the flavors, I think that's the best part of the cigar, and if I'm being 100% honest. Started off nice, smooth, creamy, sweet. Stayed that way for, I would say, about the first 2/3. And then right towards the end, surprisingly savory notes with a lot of leather, earthiness, a little bit of cedar still, and then it started getting peppery as opposed to like just the nice baking spice that complemented the sweetness. But yeah, as you can see right here, it's it's kind of starting to explode towards the end. Like the ash is fanning out. I don't know if you've seen that. Like I'm sure you have a number of cigars. Just is starting to kind of go fan out. And yeah, it's starting to kind of getting a little bit hot to the lips, hot to the taste, which is kind of adding an interesting nuance to the flavors that I'm experiencing. So in all honesty, I mean, this cigar would still be Dad Smoking Cigars approved, but I think it is the one that is at the bottom in terms of like my ranking of the Benavides. So far, the Mojoton is at the top, and then I would say the Paris Midnight, and the Nicaragita, and the Seductor. Unfortunately, its charms were not as strong as I'd hoped. It did not, quote, seduce me, as the name implies, but it is a good cigar. I think I want to give it another try to smoke again, just because I don't want to just think that this is what the experience would be every single time I smoke it. I think I may have just gotten one that was had a little bit difficulty performing, you know. But overall, it's not a bad cigar. It's pretty enjoyable. Just a few issues that kind of took away from the experience. So, well, yeah. Anyways, guys, that's pretty much it for this edition of the No Bullshit Cigar Review. I hope you enjoyed it. And again, I'm highlighting each one of the cigars for, you know, these few weeks, and I got one more cigar to share with you guys next week, which will be the last of the Benavides cigars I was given, because I really think that this brand deserves your attention. It's kind of a brand that came out of nowhere. I wasn't expecting it, and again, like if I hadn't been there that one night at Center Cigar Club, I don't think I would have ever found out about them, or at least not as soon as I did, and I'm really glad that I did. And I have been talking with and networking with the guys from Benavides, and I'm going to be hanging out with them pretty soon, which I'm really looking forward to. So I am still very impressed with this entire cigar line so far. Anyways, guys, that's it for this No Bullshit Cigar Review. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you haven't subscribed yet, I hope that you will. And please like this video. And other than that, man, thank you, guys. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. Stay smoky, and as always, I will catch you in the next one. Hey guys, thanks again for tuning into this episode. Hope you enjoyed it. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe, and also follow Dad Smoking Cigars on dads_smoking_cigars on Instagram, and be sure to check us out on Facebook. Until then, guys, stay smoky, and I'll see you in the next one.